很多人他就是感冒发热，有这么5、6天、7、8天不退烧，他特别害怕、特别紧张，他就得过来查一下嘛。所以你看到的情况就是这么一个情况。
看嘛，你看那个病状好恼火哟！一看嘞，千万不要出来呀！你看嘛，九龙坡区人民医院那个门岗又倒了一个了，糟了！看嘛，还没人理呀！你看嘛。
看到没有？龙泉花园第一栋，一个从武汉读书的大学生回来，已经发病送到医院了。现在第一栋的是已经那一栋楼的人都不准下楼了，楼都封了。我们来看，妈妈，我和小莹他们今天小陈回，我把他接起来了，正准备出去。我走到门口，车子又被乱回来了。现在我们的车子都不准出去了，还不晓得哪阵整我们出去。哦，那个真的还不是传说，已经是来到身边了，好恐怖，好恐怖。
毛病盘来喽，毛病盘来喽，爬地来喽，毛病爬地来喽。毛病爬地来喽！
上海买口罩的场面呢，警察都来好几车，我操！维持秩序，我操！
看一下啊，面条的架子上都空了，都没有面条了啊，这个米也不多了。然后你看，这是盐，这是可以放的，可以藏的，你看一下啊，赶紧来调调。
喂，各位旅客，大家好。各位旅客，大家好。这边需要先让19位武汉的旅客，然后接受接受检验的那边测体温，然后其他的旅客先坐在客舱里，不要乱动，等待海关的通知再下客。后我们会给大家发那个健康声明卡，需要大家填写。
上飞机之前为什么不给我们说？
你们这么抠别人有意思吗？
全中国为什么要拿着？
要不要脸啊？上飞机前都不说，在这装啥孙子啊？啊？
你们知道质疑什么？知道跟我们说一下不？
就是把他手指一下的，
我带一个这个，这个呀，好，这个好的。
哎，你哪边的？
我说那往这走哪去？往后退，走哪去？往后退，走哪去？往后退。别动了，走！警察大人，警察大人，这个。
太远了。妈妈，我们高了，我怕紧张吗？没事。
上了很重，我要跟我拉倒子，我还我的牌在开着，跟人家那个你是不开的，看不了。就是拉倒子，你先拉倒子我噻。你背后那个劲要重。我看老天妈想不中啊！你再把老汉拍一遍啥子？再把那个拍成啥子？我了天天这一个了，你把我们干了我当么子啊？都上开，都上开啊！上开，小人有那个命，你们搞干到你小上开干到看住啊！好吧，都上来学习啊，都离那学习。是没不管你家上交上来就可以。哎，就这样了。
我那个镜子。
我搞不了。
đi bao câu cha vay lấy hình nhà tao nặng tên bên này hàng về
看到没有，这日本到来的货啊，这正儿八经 N95，你觉得能到你手上吗？都被我们截获了，你就说丢了啊？
可不敢瞎说。
4箱3M 韩国调过来的，赶紧下单啊！3箱这个 N95啊，刚刚截获的这个日本发过来的货，最后3箱 N95啊，数量不多，赶紧下单啊！不要多问话，直接转钱发地址。截获1箱，这个是从韩国发过来的啊！等一下给咱们的顾客直接打包带走。又截获1箱。
把口袋给我签，我签我都叫了。好，可以拿。滚！你爽吗？我叫你滚！你说怎么着？
火車站啱啱出嚟呢，跌咗隻唔知係咩病毒㗎。
费用。还能付2.5吗？到那个了吧？反正当时400块钱的价，他这不光没得多3个，这他妈3个去，他哪？
这把修堂俺们呢，就要让风死来了呢，底下喊死来了，快过去让他们进来的那个，修堂俺就把那个的快那个他妈那是。
那是出。这门已经封好了，我日你妈就能开这么大。只能开这么大，他对呀，人出不去啊，小孩可以跑。我操！
看看这队伍排的，一个人只能拿1张票。
啊？你们只有回那个了，回成都或者是其他地方去下高速了。现在攀枝花是进不了，攀枝花所有的高速路口都封了，外地车和外地人是不能进去了。啊，然后你的行李的问题，那就没办法，你。
你这是怕那狗啊！确诊了嘛噻，他是有意识的呢。
大姐就真是去个爷爷只要东卡西卡，从白开水的那没人播，猛烈过去，这下播你个这个真系斗咕咕叫，啊！
人家闲的很，还有个狗日的！
这种人这公共场合不戴口罩，你还在这不得了了？
一个男3上连4。
啊，那不
了。干了！你搞得无聊，你个婊子！
他也是对的对。好，你两边老子戴口罩，戴个好的，好好的些。
你妈你个老逼，你个婊子！
好了，妈过水。
这个都好的。
6，可办了。
贵那30的可
办了呗。
多少就买那了。
各位父老乡亲，疫情就是灭年，时间就是生命，大家不要外出。这个疫情是可防可控的，大家不要惊慌，不要串门，不要走动，大家都在家里待着，要相信我们党委政府，相信我们村党委。
行吧，我们看到，哎，谁呀？那好就很多。丢了。
哎，今天
係1月29號喺大圍嘅積福街有2個大陸人喺度執緊啲2手口罩，放緊入袋。阿姐，你知唔知啲口罩咧係好污糟㗎？你知唔知如果你咁樣2手咧，喺垃圾桶執翻出嚟？你而家呢個抌垃圾咩？我唔見唔到你抌垃圾喎，叫你分類喎啫。你知唔知而家咧嗰啲菌好勁㗎？你唔好累交啲香港人啦！睇完醫生，你執口罩，睇跟住你執咗頭先。我執咗，我抌垃圾抌咗。而家即刻抌啦！而家即刻抌啦！我而家都未抌。而家即刻抌啦！而家見到你即刻抌。我啲紙尿片擺埋一齊。紙尿片擺埋一齊，呢度全部都口罩嚟㗎。我抌垃圾啊！抌垃圾，你而家即刻抌咗佢啦！你而家即刻抌咗佢啦！你有冇人性啊你啊？我知咩人性？我咩人性？你係咪好窮啊？執2手口罩。我癲！我睇緊住喺垃圾桶度抄出嚟頭先。抄出嚟咩垃圾啊？呢個全部我㗎。全部你啊？頭先垃圾桶成個袋喺度啊！你黐線，你癲㗎你都！我癲㗎你都！不過我望緊住你啦！望乜咩人知我係知道執嘢好揾價值啊！你黐！你冇錢冇咁樣啦！你冇口罩定點啊？大把口罩喺度，我黐線啊！我自己有打我呢個垃圾嚟㗎，你都知。頭先影住你啦，成袋垃圾喺度抄。我抄你牙齒啊！你癲㗎你！係啊係啊，影住你全部垃圾喺度抄啦頭先。扮咩啫你？你自己扮咩撚嘢？我自己表粉正眼啫！你仆街，你睇撚真啲啊！仆街！你望清楚你個袋有幾多垃圾先啦！你死仆街！你望緊啲壞人緊攞出嚟㗎！你攞出嚟講點啊？你行開啲！你行咗你啊！你行咗你行開啊！你行開啊！你行開啊！冇得咁埋啦，抌垃圾啦你！影緊住你頭先。
港共無能，港人自救；港共無能，港人自救；港共無能，港人自救。Fight for freedom, stand with Hong Kong. Fight for freedom, stand with Hong Kong. Fight demands, no one less. Fight demands, no one less. Free Hong Kong, democracy now. Free Hong Kong, democracy now. Free Hong Kong, democracy now. Free Hong Kong. Free Hong Kong! Democracy now! Free Hong Kong! Democracy now! Free Hong Kong! Democracy now!
我们台湾就用不过了，就怎么到中国去？
所以你觉得留在台湾自己用这样？
对呀、他们中国的新光哈里那卖啊，一定要给咱统一起来，咱是安那就爱救。
在确诊的病例里的病死率呢是106例，那么按这么看的话，它的病死率就是在确诊病人的病死率是2.3%。那么作为病死率来说呢，并不是说特别高，但是它的传染性还是应该说是还是比较强的。从19号、20号从100多例、200例，现在增加了4000多例，那么这个时间也就是1周多啊，1周多。我想多种原因的。首先一个是现在已经出现人传染，这个就是一个这新发传染病的一个非常重要的一个阶段。但是呢，就是这个人数啊，总的来说啊不算多，它还不是一种那个完全爆发式的啊，像链式反应的那个原子弹链式反应那种爆。一般爆发性的传染病它是这么一个规律的。第二个很重要的原因呢，就是采用了这个比较积极的措施，现在检测的也比较及时，所以你原来可能就有了，但现在检测就加快了， 那么现在就是检测加快了以后呢，就是差不多一般现在多数的方法是3到4小时能够检测出来。那么检测加快以后呢，那及时诊断病人。所以人传人总有个潜伏期，这个潜伏期呢，大概应该说，现在我们正在进行一个更准确的一个评估。那么从一般来说呢，3到7天一般是这么说，那不超过14天。那么这什么时候达到高峰的话呢？这个很难绝对的估计。不过我想啊，应该在1周或者10天，应该达到比较高了。所谓达到高峰的意思呢，就是说它不会大规模的增加了。SARS 是持续了，差不多5个多月，快6个月啊。但我相信这个新型冠状病毒不会持续那么长，因为我们在第3波的开始后，国家的层面已经采取强力的这个措施啊，对待这个，特别是重视刚才我讲的这2个问题，一个早发现，一个早隔离。当然，现在科研呢很多还需要再做啊，所以这2条做到了，已经能够我们有足够的信心防止大爆发。
喂，你好，帮让你
好，
在那边等一下，我要自己。因为我们大家穿的都一样的，从头包到脚，谁也不认识谁，在背上写上名字，就以方便大家认识。
就是昨天晚上有一个好心人送到我们这里来的，我们看到之后非常的感动，也更加有信心能打赢这场战争。
我去给你把饭热一下，好不好？
有好多。
所以现在要我们接3楼和4楼，压力非常大。我现在是咬牙从别的地方抽，我可以保证你每个病区留6个人给你们配合你们的工作。
我现在呢是这样的，我们的护士呢现在也是 ICU， 还有这个就是呼吸一病区。我基本上我如果按照我们原来的符合医疗常规、符合医疗规范的排，基本上力量全部都铺进去了。我们的护士现在就是白班一直拖到晚上，下了夜班还不能回家，直接是白班。 我们的缺口总共如果全部排完，我们缺口还差80。
这个压力真的好大，这个压力真的好大。
女生也得搬东西，
因为大部分都是女生。
大部分是女生。
当晚了吗？我们是除夕夜那天早上5点钟打电话通知的，赶紧收东西了，出发武汉，然后就那个。
有选择吗？当时可以不去吗？
没有说我们可不可以去吧，接到通知那就去啊。而且自己本身还小，家里也没啥，就没什么牵绊嘛。
您觉得会有危险吗？进去以后自己会对自己担心吗？
应该会有点担心，但是你衣服穿好了，防护好了，应该不会有太大问题的。
那时候还没睡醒，接到电话，就开始还没反应过来，有收拾东西去医院了。之前我打电话跟他们说我去武汉，我就到后面就有点后悔，我不应该告诉他们，我怕他们担心我，因为睡不着啊，也吃不好啊。当时就后悔了，怎么就告诉他们？本来不应该告诉他们。
重头戏就是在于拖，你
就没有镜子是吧？
哦，没有镜子，
然后往下拉。
对。你干净的时候又碰到外面是吧？你可以从里往外，从里往外掏，明白了吧？从里啊，从里。
碰到那个眼睛，
你把眼睛闭上吧，我现在可紧。
然后再洗的时候，
对。
狗头戴好。
这防护服穿着个什么感觉呀？
太热了。
不是你们进去过没有？
昨天我们会长进去过，跟我们讲过。
但你们现在是第一次进，
对。
害怕不害怕？
不害怕。他们说和我原来上班跟护士差不多的格局。我们原来跟我们在医院上班。
都是90后吗？
对，是的。
有男朋友吗？
没有。
都没有是吧
？90几年的？90
90
啊，都很年轻。
咱们有最小的说哪年的呀
？97、98的吧。
我们这一批96的。
96年96年。您呢？
我93。
真的很年轻啊。
但是我们经验很丰富。
来给帅哥合照啊，免费的。
尽量去以我个人的能力去。我的其实想法就是希望大家面对这个疫情，咱们都是中国人，更加团结强大在一起。
中で、現地で残っておりまして非常に不安に思ったところ、迅速にこういった形でチャーター便で戻していただけることができて、大変ホッとしているというのが正直な動き回ることができない状態でしたので、ごく断片的にしか、分かりませんけれども、もう物流あるいはその交通の規制というのが非常に厳しい中でですね、自由なその経済活動というのは全くできないという状況ですね。
加油！加油！加
To get a better idea of how the coronavirus is having an impact on communities closer to the epicenter in Wuhan and Hubei province, we took a southbound train from Beijing. We got off in central Henan province. Its southern border with Hubei covers more than 400 kilometers, the longest of any other province. And the spreading of the virus is a big and sensitive concern. As we were about to exit the station, we were met by a local government official. He knew we were coming and told the local police our plan.
They're still trying to go to Changyuan. I told them they can't pass the checkpoint. They have to go back to Beijing.
But they said they wouldn't stop us. Instead, they would follow us until we reached the checkpoint to the community we wanted to visit.
The sign says all the cars stop for check.
We're about an hour away from the train station, the Changyuan exit from the freeway. This is described as the medical supply capital of China. So we wanted to go in because the face masks are manufactured there. More than 50% for China are manufactured inside. And we've heard that they've brought the staff back from their holiday early to manufacture more face masks. But it's so sensitive, they're stopping us here, not even letting us go inside. We were not the only ones being turned away. Other cars were prevented from going in if they could not prove that they were from Chongyang. And then we were told by the official that if we did not leave Henan province before the end of the day, it was highly likely that we would be put in quarantine. As the end of the extended holiday draws closer, many people in these communities could be cut off even longer if additional transportation restrictions are put into place. Scott Heiler, Al Jazeera, Changyuan.
截至1月28日24时，国家卫生健康委收到各省区市累计报告确诊病例5974例，现有重症病例1239例，累计死亡病例132例，累计治愈出院103例，现有疑似病例9239例。
从目前我们的疫情监测的情况看呢，确实也发现一些儿童和婴幼儿的病例，但是这些病例呢，它的临床症状，临床的病情呢都比较轻，重的呢还是以老年人，为主，中老年人为主。
应该能控制，现在查证没有。不会，我们国家的防护措施做得非常的好，只要尽少接触外人的话，肯定是没有问题的。
他们告诉我这里不可以，岳阳站不能下，然后我就是说哪里能下，他们说岳阳站能下，岳阳站我就倒过来了嘛，就岳阳这口，然后他们就说这里也不能下。我感觉
是为什么？是因为你的湖北的车牌吗？
对，是。
아까도 얘기했는데 없어서 지금 다 소진돼서 다른 데서.
예, 아무래도 지금 중국분들이 지금 구하기가 힘들다 보니까 그래서 오늘 아침부터 오늘 저희가 한 게 한 만 몇 개가 되는데 실제적으로 지금 오전에 거의 다 아까
지금 걱정되기 시작해서 저도 이제 마스크를 착용하고 판매를 하고 있고요. 손소독제나 손 위생 같은 것도 많이 신경 쓰고 있는 편이에요.
不容缓。然而，这是一场极其危险的手术。产妇当时发热、烦躁，并且咳嗽。此时的医护人员也面临着病毒的传染。对这些产科医生、护士来说，这是一个非同寻常的手术。身上穿着2件手术衣、2层隔离服，近1个小时的剖腹产手术。他们不仅防护服全部湿透，头发上也全都是汗水。除夕当晚7点50分，小燕顺利免下6斤2两的蛋宝宝，如此平安。
您现在状况怎么样啊？
如果说很多话会有点累，但是肯定是比之前要好太多太多了。
体温正常了吗？
啊，体温是正常的。
您最惦记的是什么事儿？最希望是什么？
是希望我的宝宝健健康康的。
孩子出生后，为了怕小燕传染孩子，立刻被奶奶抱回了家中养育。记者也是1月27号下午，在武汉红十字医院的病房，记者见到了这位幸运的妈妈。由于仍然没有确诊，
Il y a des raisons, en effet. C'est ce pourquoi ce n'est pas un acte héroïque, c'est un acte réfléchi. Donc c'est mon travail, c'est mon métier. Donc je resterai jusqu'à ce qu'il n'y ait plus de Français. Donc il y aura toujours des Français à Wuhan. Hein. Donc je resterai, bien sûr. Je respecte les consignes de sécurité. Et je pense que je serai beaucoup plus utile ici qu'en France. Alors le masque, je le porte régulièrement lorsque je sors. De toute façon, c'est une obligation de par les autorités locales. Donc tout le monde ici à Wuhan porte actuellement un masque. Maintenant, le masque, c'est surtout important pour les personnes malades de le porter, de façon à ne pas diffuser les virus qu'ils portent.
每天10点钟，酒店守住我们，锻炼身体，保护自己，更好的完成任务，战胜这次困难。我们全国人民，包括我们，不能在前线战斗，但我们在后线和他们战斗的信心是一样的，决心战胜这次困难，我们有信心。
做了之后，人感觉轻松多了，很好。做了之后，人感觉很舒服了，很轻松了。
The pictures we have of that plane carrying about 200 American evacuees from China. That is the plane taking off from Anchorage, Alaska, where it stopped to refuel. All of the passengers have been tested for coronavirus several times, nobody reporting any symptoms. It will land in about 3 hours' time in California to be tested again, those passengers. These are consular officials and their families and some other Americans who will be able to get on board. We know to this point, Canada is not looking at flying its citizens out of Wuhan, out of Hubei, the province around Wuhan, the epicenter of the coronavirus. We heard yesterday from the Foreign Affairs Minister that there are some 250 Canadians in the area, and about half of them have requested help to get home. Ottawa hasn't made a decision yet. All options are on the table, and it's in talks with allies as to what its next steps should be. In the meantime, there are many Canadians stuck, and we're going to meet one young man who is exactly in that situation. He went to spend the holidays with his girlfriend's family in Wuhan, and he is still, this morning, stuck there today. His name is Patterson Wu. My guest this morning, Patterson, thank you very much for being on our program today.
Thank you, Heather.
I know you're supposed to be flying home tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, in your schedule, but it looks like that's not going to happen because of what's going on in Wuhan and with this new coronavirus. You know, when did you start to get concerned, Patterson, or when did it dawn on you that, boy, you weren't going to get home as you'd planned?
Well, I guess it came as a surprise because we were still hoping to be able to get out on the 27th. But then the news came suddenly on the 23rd in the morning when the government official released the notice that they are locking down the entire city. It came as a shock, and yeah.
So, yeah, that was from Chinese officials locking down the city. Nobody could get out, no trains, no cars, no planes, and that included you. So there you are wanting to get home to Vancouver, and I know you looked for help from Canadian consular officials. Tell me who you contacted and what response you got.
So it took me a while to actually contact the embassy in Beijing. I phoned on the day of and every day afterwards, but the first day when they were off Chinese New Year holiday was on the 27th. So that's the first time I made contact with them. I left a message and they phoned back in 4 hours. They told me they did not have enough information about Wuhan to assist me, but they will reroute me to Shanghai embassy. And that's who I talked to in Shanghai, was a lady who told me she would be able to provide some information. And she asked if I spoke Mandarin. I said yes. So she gave me a link to a website on the Weixin, which is a popular Chinese social media website where they presented information about hospitals.
So I'm going to bring
Wuhan.
that up because you sent that to us. This is the link that you got from, these are Canadian consular officials in Shanghai. They sent you a link in Mandarin. At least you read that. At least you can read that. I couldn't. So you made several attempts to reach Canadian consular embassy officials, and the net help you got was this link. Is that, am I summing that up correctly, Patterson?
Yes, that was all they were able to provide. And I also asked about plans and evacuation plans, and they said there was none at the moment.
Okay. This link, by the way, tells you what local hospitals are around to help you if you should feel sick, or what information does that link provide?
The link is mostly to provide you with a list of hospitals that you should go to based on the area in Wuhan you are at.
Okay. When you got that information, little bit that it was, and when you had those other repeated attempts, what was your reaction to the degree and level of help you were receiving?
Well, I tried to phone them for many days now, but they were on holiday while we were still stuck in the city with the epidemic happening in the country. It kind of felt like finally I got something, but at the same time, it kind of felt like this is all I got. But yeah.
What would you have expected instead?
I think I would have expected like at least an official information site instead of a post to a Chinese website that the government compiled for us.
Something
because I know
bit.
for a fact that, because I know for a fact that in Wuhan and anywhere in China, when you go to a hospital, you scan their personal ID cards in order to receive treatment. And they did not provide any information as to if I need that card or what should I do if I don't have the card, and then they requested. None was given about that.
So is it fair to say that you didn't get the level of help that you thought you should have in this circumstance for you in Wuhan?
Yeah, by the 27th, the number of patients with the disease was over 1,000. I think there should have been more support.
The minister said yesterday, as he talked about helping Canadians, because there are about 250 people like you registered in the Wuhan area, and about half of them would like to come home on some form of flight. All options are being considered, but not at this point looking at flying Canadians out. What do you think the Canadian government should do for you and other Canadians in this situation?
I think even if they are not able to fly us out, I think one other country was providing bus services to drive us out of Wuhan to another city for quarantine. I think something like that would also be served better than what's happening now.
Okay, so you'd be willing to go into quarantine for a period of time before coming home, if that would be required?
Yeah, I am totally fine with that, yes.
So let me ask you, number one, how are you feeling? Are you okay?
Right now, I'm feeling slightly more positive. The news coming out of the Chinese government and Chinese news outlets are becoming more and more positive, and so are Western media. So I'm trying to stay positive right now.
And your health, everything okay?
Yeah, everything. I'm perfectly fine. I don't show any symptoms. I've never had a fever while I'm here.
what have you been doing? I mean, we've seen pictures of Wuhan. It's essentially a city. There's nobody out and about. It's essentially in lockdown, and there you are at your girlfriend's parents' house. What have you been doing to pass the time?
Well, since we're all locked in here for roughly around 2 weeks now, we've just been, I bought VPN, going through YouTube, going through news outlets, watching TV. It's as much stuff as we can to pass the time while being confined inside the house.
Getting to know each other pretty well, I would imagine, on this. And what about your family here in Vancouver? I mean, how concerned are they? What are you hearing from them?
They are still very, very concerned about it. The information they're getting is very delayed. It's not always up to date, and it's not all the information. So they keep asking me for updates and see if there's any information I could give them to show that when I will be able to leave. But as of right now, I'm not able to provide that.
Understandable. They would be concerned about you, but I hope they're up early and watching, and then they'll see that you look to be in good shape as we speak this morning. You know, to conclude, Patterson, I'm just wondering if there's some sort of a message you'd like to deliver to anyone in a position of making decisions to help you and the other Canadians who are stuck like you. What would you like people here in Ottawa to know and to do?
I mean, it's very scary for everybody here who's stuck in a foreign country. Some of them who can't even speak the language. I think they should offer more support, even a plan, at least come up with a plan for evacuating people out of Wuhan.
We'll see if there's any more detail. We do know there are going to be news conferences out of Ottawa today. We'll see whether there's any announcements on those kinds of plans. Patterson, we'll stay in touch. We'll hope for the best. Stay healthy. Say hi to your family there, and we'll keep in touch with you and make sure you get home safe and sound.
Thank you, Heather.
Okay, pleasure to meet you here. Thank you. Patterson Wu, a young Canadian from Vancouver, but right now stranded in Wuhan, China.
No cases of the deadly coronavirus have been reported in South Africa, but government says it's liaising with authorities in China regarding the safety of South African citizens. Health Minister Zweli Mkhize says government will react swiftly should South Africans request to come back home. We're now joined via Skype by Trevelyan Govender, a South African who is living and working in Shenzhen in China. Trevelyan, a very good morning, and thank you for joining us. It's morning where we are, but it's late afternoon where you are.
Yes, hi. It's so good to be with you. It's actually 4:34 now here in China, in Shenzhen. So we're pretty much almost done for the day.
The whole world is worried about the breakout of the coronavirus. Similar worries here in South Africa. Give us a sense of what it is on the ground as a South African living in China. Perhaps let me put that question on the side a bit and ask you, what are you doing in China?
Well, actually now it's time for Chinese New Year. So many of the residents who actually live in China have gone back to their hometowns and to their provinces. So we're actually on holiday now. So for us foreigners, usually we go for like a 1-month vacation somewhere. But now because of the virus, we're basically in our homes and we don't really have anywhere else to go outside because we've been told that we're not supposed to be going out in public areas. And with the virus being spread so widely, it's been said that we should wear like masks and take so many precautions. So I think it's actually quite scary while being here in China.
What are you doing in China, if I may ask?
I'm actually a teacher, so my wife and I will both teach English in China. We've been here for 2 years, and this is actually the first time that we've experienced something like this.
How are the restrictions impacting your life?
Well, currently now all the shops are closed, so grocery stores are closed, most pharmacies are closed, very few pharmacies are open. And actually the masks that they have been telling us to get, surgical or safety masks to prevent us from getting the virus, they've said that
we should get this mask, but we can't go to any pharmacy now and get it because there's no stock. So even online, when you try to buy the mask or any preventative measures, it's like sold out. So this is the problem we're facing currently.
Are you saying the masks are sold out?
Yeah.
Wow.
When we go to the pharmacy or any supermarket, even trying to buy it online, those masks are sold out because everybody's actually buying them so quickly. So it's in high demand. So all the masks are basically like sold out.
Quite astonishing. We've heard also that the internet is restricted. How are people getting information on the virus, and are there restrictions impacting this flow of information?
So in China, we have something called the Great Firewall, where the internet is restricted by the government. So we can access most sites, but a lot of the news sites are kind of censored and restricted. So most of the information we're getting from like news forums or via social media sites that we can access. And I think that's where a lot of the misconceptions of what this virus is and what it does is coming from, because a lot of people are saying different things that are not accurate.
Are you considering returning home until the situation improves?
Actually, for me, I don't think I'll be considering returning home as such yet, because basically this is my home for 3 years, and to just pack up everything and go right now is a very difficult thing for me. So I don't think so, not right now. But if there is a time where it gets too serious, I think maybe I will have to return home.
Yeah. Now, news of the coronavirus dominating international reportage. Is there a sense of panic in China, particularly where you are?
I think generally across all of China, there's a panic going on because there's not so much information, and like I said, the misinformation of the virus. A lot of the Chinese nationals and the foreigners are now beginning to panic because we don't know really what to do, or we don't know all the information and how to combat it. So I think there is a sense of panic.
Have you witnessed an individual or any people who have been affected?
I haven't actually seen anybody who has been sick or has been affected by the virus yet. Where I am is kind of a small city in Wuhan, Shenzhen, so a lot of the people are actually, like I said, gone home. So there's very few people on the streets actually. The little people who are on the streets are just maybe shopping for a few grocery items or such. But I haven't seen anybody who's sick yet or has been affected by it.
Trevelyan, thank you so much for giving us that sense of how it is on the ground in China in terms of the coronavirus. But just as a South African living in China, what's that like for you?
I think it's a very strange thing, because usually we really relax in China. It's really safe here, and we're used to good living conditions. But when something like this happens, I think it's, as for a foreigner who's working in another country, it's a little bit scary and a bit unsettling. But I think we have to be positive with this virus, and hopefully it will get resolved quickly.
Thank you so much for giving us that, as I said, sense of what's happening on the ground. Trevelyan Govender, who is teaching in China, South African teaching in China, living and working there in Shenzhen.
A growing list of countries are evacuating their citizens from Wuhan, the centre of China's coronavirus outbreak. Australia says it intends to quarantine its evacuees on Christmas Island, and any Britons returning from the city are to be put in quarantine for 2 weeks. Airlines are taking measures to limit the spread of the disease. This Thai Airways flight is being disinfected after returning from China. Well, British Airways has suspended all flights to China, and United Airlines and Cathay Pacific are restricting routes. The Chinese president says containing the virus remains a grim and complex task, with the number of confirmed cases in China at nearly 6,000 and 132 known deaths. Well, some US and Japanese nationals were flown out of Wuhan on Wednesday, and France, South Korea, India and Algeria are among others preparing to bring their citizens home. Australia is under fire for its plan to quarantine 600 evacuees on Christmas Island. That's 2,000 kilometres from the mainland. Shaima Khalil has more from Sydney.
The initial reaction was one of relief that people are being evacuated and brought back to Australia. But really, the choice of Christmas Island has raised eyebrows and raised a number of questions. Christmas Island has quite a tainted history, if you will. Since 2003, it's been used as a detention center, a place where asylum seekers are kept and detained. It is famous for a recently reopened particular detention center that has recently been criticized for bad conditions, for human rights violations. It's currently housing a Sri Lankan family of 4. This detention center is going to be quarantine zone, if you will. And upon hearing that, many have raised the question of why is it that 600 Australians, including 100 children that traveled with their families to celebrate the Lunar Year, instead of being brought to hospitals in mainland China, why are they being brought to Christmas Island, about 2,000 kilometers from the mainland? It's actually closer to Indonesia than it is to Australia mainland.
That's Shaima Khalil there. Let's speak to our China correspondent, Stephen McDonnell, who is himself in self-isolation at home in Beijing. And Stephen, you have isolated yourself because you've recently come back from the Wuhan region. Tell me what it was like.
Yes, well, the authorities have said that anybody coming back from Hubei province should wait for 2 weeks before going back to their workplace. So that's what I'm doing, like everybody else who comes back from Hubei. And that's because the incubation period can be up to 2 weeks. People who don't have any symptoms might not be aware that they're carrying the coronavirus, and in fact they are. Now, it's interesting coming back into Beijing because even though it's normally quiet here at this time of year anyway, it's especially quiet now. You know, you move around the streets in Beijing, you barely see another person. Shops are closed. People are afraid to be coming out into the streets for fear of contracting the coronavirus. And this is happening right across China, you know, from big cities to small towns, the whole place. Normally, this is the most bustling time of year, important, the Chinese New Year, and instead it's a very quiet scene in virtually anywhere you visit right now in China.
How does the government actually police people coming back from the region? How does it make sure they do stay at home and are conscientious about it, as you clearly have been?
Well, some reporters have actually had the authorities knocking on their door and telling them they must do this, especially in Shanghai. They've taken a bit of a hard line there to make sure that nobody strays from these directives from the government. But, I mean, ultimately, I don't know how you do patrol it. How do you make sure that everybody who's been in that province doesn't, leave their home? The thing is that I think more important is they don't go back to their workplace. So, you know, enter a workplace, infect everybody. And so people are instead being told, like I am, to work from home. Schools, universities, they're not going back yet. They're pausing classes. And, you know, it's interesting looking at this problem in terms of comparing to SARS, for example. Already, the number of infections here has gone past SARS, and the SARS emergency lasted for 7 months. So people are really worried that this is an especially contagious version of a dangerous virus. However, it's important to remember that it doesn't seem to be as deadly because the death toll, we're nowhere near that 700 plus death toll for SARS. And so it could be that this is a very easy virus for people to catch, but it won't necessarily kill as many people as SARS did back in 2002.
OK, Stephen, I hope you're well. Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another video, another update. I'm in the town center again here. As you can see, I'm sitting in the car. My mother-in-law wanted to come here and get medicine while we still could. There's been a lot of updates as far as things happening in the country. I've heard that the White House is preparing to possibly suspend all flights from China. Yeah, store shelves are out here. The store shelves seem to be fine. I haven't gone into the supermarket, of course, to look, but I can see there's plenty of alcohol out here on the streets. Maybe I can let you have a look. You can see the big boxes of alcohol sitting out. Just a sec. If you can see those big boxes of the stack of boxes here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. That is all alcohol, very strong Chinese alcohol. So one of the current developments is that people in little towns are beginning to block the roads coming through their towns. The government has come out and said that they can't do that, but of course they're all panicked because of the virus, and they're doing all kinds of things. Signs, of course, have been appearing saying it's against the law. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in my other video, but apparently now it's against the law currently for people to gather in groups of 10 or more. They're saying, of course, to stay home. There's a lot less people out in town. I'm still surprised to see some old people going around without masks. I see some people smoking with, of course, they can't smoke with a mask, but maybe they got the idea that they can, that old rumor about if you smoke, you're not going to get the virus or whatever. People are becoming increasingly scared. There's those rumors about 2 people having the virus in town. I've heard they've actually confirmed one person from the town here has the virus. In light of everything about travel restrictions and that sort of thing, I'm actually considering going on the road here for a little bit to get some things that we need just in case something goes really wrong and the U.S. government decides they're going to evacuate U.S. citizens. I've heard there's a plan to do that, of course, in Wuhan, but it sounds like things are spreading all over China. There was another funny thing, just on a more comical note. And in Japan, I heard about a flight of Chinese people coming back from Nagoya, and so half the flight was apparently people from Hubei province, and the flight was going to be going to Shanghai Pudong Airport, and the Shanghaiese people, they heard the people speaking in the Hubei dialect or whatever, and they immediately started to talk amongst themselves and started to try and tell people. And then somebody said something about one of the people was hiding behind them and taking cold medicine so they wouldn't have a fever to get on the flight. They managed to delay the flight for 6 hours because no one would get on the plane. The Shanghai people were saying if any of the Hubei people get on the plane, they wouldn't get on the plane. If they started telling all of the airport staff finally came, the Japanese people, to check people's temperatures. There was one person that had a slight fever, so they put them in isolation for a bit until their fever was gone, and then they were going to send them anyway, and people were refusing. They were arguing and fighting, sending messages back and forth to China, alerting all of the authorities in the Shanghai Pudong Airport that, this flight of Wuhan people are coming, and apparently the Wuhan boogeyman has made it all the way to Japan and other places. So in the end, the Wuhan people are just like, well, we're getting on the flight whether you are or not. So they all boarded the flight, and apparently when the flight finally did get to Pudong Airport, the authorities instructed the plane to land somewhere far away from the terminal, and they took the people off and put them in isolation or something and checked them all. So there's a little comical thing. That Wuhan boogeyman, he's all over the place, even in maybe even in your country, But like I said, I'm considering going on the road here for just a short road trip, I guess you could say, to go back home to get some things that we need. Hello everybody, I'm in bed again. I just want to finish this little video off because I am going to be setting off on a little trip to go get some necessary things just in case we have to leave China. And I wanted to post this before I go, and then I'm going to document what I see along the way, and hopefully we make it there and back without too much trouble. As you know, the roads are, well, we'll see what happens anyway. I'll let you see it, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
阳朔这个小镇通常情况下是各种户外活动的天堂，人们来到这里放松生活。对于中国人，他们从上小学就开始知道桂林山水甲天下。 对于外国人，吸引他们来这里的更多是阳朔的攀岩。但在过去的这几天里，这个繁华的游客胜地顷刻之间发生了翻天覆地的变化。有的村民他们自己封锁了道路，禁止行人通行。商店、饭店还有酒吧，通通都关门了。这里的政府下令关闭本市所有的学校以及教育机构。本来应该有7部贺岁片上映的，但是因为这个疫情，现在电影院关门了，关了。最让人心碎的是，现在正值中国人民过春节。春节是几乎每一个中国人最期盼的时刻，比西方的圣诞节还要重大。原本应该热闹的大街，高兴的人们，各种好玩的活动，和一派生机盎然的景象，但是现在什么都没有。现在有一个地方，人们不得不去那里，那就是菜市场。现在口罩早已售空，所以我们向一个当地的语言学校欧美达求助，在这个黑暗的时期，给菜市场这些没有口罩的摊主做一些力所能及的帮助。这里的摊主很多都是老人家，这些人正在面临着最大的风险。他们一直在这个小镇最危险的地方暴露着自己。这无疑是一个艰难的时期，而我们需要的只是齐心协力。
Hello again, it's Ben Kavanagh, still in quarantined Wuhan. That won't change for a while. Today I'm just going to be answering some questions you guys have been posting on the previous videos. So let's get into it. First question, are you scared? You don't look so scared. I'm not scared. No, there you go. I'm not scared. When I go to bed, usually quite late, your mind starts to wander. The way when you're going to bed and you can't sleep, you just start to think crazy things. But no, I'm not scared. I just try not to think about it. It's not time to worry yet, not for me. I'm not infected as far as I know. So no need to worry, no need to fear. Just take precautions, be safe, be healthy, wash your hands, wear your masks. You'll be okay. So no, I'm not scared. Question 2. What is China doing in terms of sanitation to help prevent spreading of the virus? China, even before the virus, I noticed was quite sanitary in the way that they would always, every single day, collect all the rubbish. Every single day you see trucks going back and forth, spraying water on the road, cleaning the road. Only the other day when I was actually at the shop, I didn't get a video of it, there was a truck kind of like cleaning the midsection of the dual carriageway. It had just, I don't know what to call that, spinning sponges, if you will, just for the railing in the middle. So especially since the virus, they've upped their game and they were already quite good at being sanitary in the streets. 3. How are your family handling the news about you being in China with the outbreak going on? Well, like I said, I am not worried. I tell them not to worry. In an ideal world, I wouldn't be here, but I am. So there's nothing really we can do to get on with it. We're always in touch. I've had contact constantly now from my whole family ever since the lockdown, basically. Every day I get messages, I get calls. So we reassure each other. I tell them not to worry, they tell me not to worry. We keep each other updated at the information for evacuations and stuff. So obviously they want me home and safe, but until that's an option, a viable option, then I'm here and we just have to deal with it. 4. What is the hardest part about being quarantined? What are you doing to avoid boredom? The hardest part. Maybe the most annoying part is the cooking. I actually like to cook, but here in China I've only got two hobs, 2 burners, 1 wok and 2 pots. And not as many ingredients as I would like, obviously, in a quarantine. So I like to cook, but that's probably the most annoying thing, because like I said in the other video, I would usually eat out or have food brought in because it's just so cheap and it's so nice. So that's probably the most annoying part. I'm actually going to cook a carbonara tonight, so I'm looking forward to that. I don't have spaghetti, so it'll be a penne carbonara. I've got eggs, I've got bacon. So looking forward to that. That'll be nice. What was the rest of the question? What am I doing to avoid boredom? Well, this for one. I do these videos kind of keep me sane for now. That was a joke. Today I'll actually clean my apartment because it is filthy. I'm looking around and it is pretty untidy right now. I'll show you. There's my washing just hanging up in the living room. I'll quickly do that. There you go. Quite messy. So that's what I'll be doing after this. What do you do when you're on your holidays and you're in your apartment? Imagine you were just in your apartment for a day. What would you do to pass the time? That's what I do. Every day. Question 5. Are you getting anxious about any exposure? Anxious about running out of food or money? You are brave to say you will stay. Well, if I was that anxious about being exposed, then I would never leave and I would just starve. But I went out on Sunday. When was that? What day? Today's Wednesday. I feel fine. I took precautions. I wore my mask. I looked silly in my goggles, but It's been 3 days. I still feel fine. I'm not too anxious about it. Like I say, I try not to worry about it. If I get infected, hopefully I'll be fine even with the infection. But no, I'm not too anxious about it. What was I anxious about? Anxious about running out of food or money. China is great because it is not too expensive. And so the food isn't too expensive. So the money, I'm not too worried about that. Obviously, I was going to go on holiday. So I've saved all that money. All my holiday money is now, I guess, quarantine money. Food, like I said, I went out 3 days ago and I was fine. The shops are always fully stocked. Food is always going to keep coming into the city. That won't stop. That just can't stop. So maybe in a week, 10 days or so, I'll go back out and do another big shop. I had to get toiletries last time, so this time I'll just focus all on food. Suitcase again, just full of food. I'm not worried about running out of food. No, I just try not to worry about anything. If I worry about it now and then it happens, then I've suffered twice. I've suffered when I worried and I suffered when it happened. So no point worrying. What was the rest of it? You are brave to say you will stay. I'm not brave. I'm not brave to say I'll stay. It just makes sense to me to stay. The medical experts in America, Japan, Australia, they're all saying we can bring home the people and it should be okay. We can have quarantine set up and stuff ready for them when they arrive. But there are exceptional circumstances for some people who definitely should leave. And I don't believe everyone should stay. But unless you absolutely have to, for now, while it is in this current state, like I don't know, it could get much, much worse. And then I might regret staying. But right now, the way things are right now, I think staying it probably isn't the best option, but it definitely isn't a terrible option. Plenty of food, plenty of water. China are handling the situation very well, so no, I'm not brave for staying. I'm just doing what I think is the right thing to do. I don't want to infect anyone else, and maybe I would be infected by being evacuated, maybe. So I don't know. To me, it seems like the best idea. People would probably disagree with that. Some people would want to get out as soon as possible. My family, like I say, they want me home. But I think the way things are now, that's what I'm saying. The way things are right now, staying isn't a terrible option. As for the evacuations that are underway, I don't know too much about Australia and Japan. It doesn't really concern me. The Americans, there was a flight of Americans that left yesterday morning. I think it was 7 a.m. or 10 p.m. I think it was meant to be 7. No, the American flight with people on it left last night. And I believe now they're in Alaska for a week of quarantine. So that's good for them. The British, I believe there's a flight Thursday morning. I think it's at 7 a.m. And hopefully people I was referring to earlier in dire circumstances who are at the most risk, hopefully they'll get on that flight and they'll get out. I'm in touch with the Irish embassy. We communicate, so if there's evacuation for me, like I said, I'll do the evacuation under the right circumstances, knowing that quarantine and health and medical professionals are making these decisions. So we have to trust them. We have to put our trust in them. They know what they're talking about. I'm just a guy in Wuhan. I just live in the situation. They really know what to do. So I think we can trust that if people are being evacuated, they're being evacuated in the right way, in the right manner, and we can just hope for the best. 6. How are the people within Wuhan reacting to this? Are the people mistrustful or feeling optimistic that they can weather this? I can't remember what day it was. Maybe it was the 27th? No, 26th? It was a day. It was in the past. Very, very recently. Maybe 2, 3, 4 days ago. And at 8 o'clock, all the citizens of Wuhan who are still here, the millions that are still here, they went to their windows, they went to their balcony, and everyone was shouting, "Jiao! and Jiao means come on. It's like encouragement. So people were shouting Jiao to the city, like, come on, we can do this. Showing how resilient they are and just really showing that we can band together and Wuhan can get through this. So yeah, that answers the question, doesn't it? How are people reacting? Everyone's reacting very well. People are staying inside. People are wearing their masks when they go outside. They're taking the right precautions. And I think everyone's doing pretty well. What was the rest of the question? Are people mistrustful or feeling optimistic? Yeah, people are feeling optimistic. Obviously, in a city of 11 million, if only 1% of them, or even 0.5% of them, are feeling restless or mistrustful, then you might see a video of someone freaking out. But such a small percentage, the city is coping well with this terrible situation. Question 7. How do you manage to draw the line between precaution and paranoia under such a situation? Like I said before about going out, you take the right precautions, you take the correct measures to make sure you don't get infected. So masks, goggles. That probably relates back to the other one about what are China doing for sanitary wise. I have this mask, it's a dust mask, and I wouldn't have known that wasn't going to be good enough on its own. But China sent out loads of information, the right precautions to take, what meats to avoid, how to wash your hands with what kind of soap, antibacterial, alcohol, soap, stuff like that. But the paranoia thing, I saw a comment saying something like, I hope he washes the wheels on his suitcase when he gets back from the shop. And I was like, that seems a bit much. I'm not going to be licking the wheels of the suitcase. I mean, I'd say you use your common sense. What's too much? If you think about it too much, you think, oh my God, when was the last time I washed my hands? I can't touch my face. But you think, I'm inside. I'm in the apartment. The apartment is clean. It's safe. Cook your food thoroughly. Common sense, really. Just don't go too far with it. Don't want to become, every 5 minutes cleaning your hands. It's unnecessary. You don't need to be that bad. You wouldn't do that if the flu was going around. Question 8. Are you worried about the puppy you saw on the street? Yeah, he was so cute. He was so cute. I was thinking about him because, I guess I was worried about him then. I think now with no one on the street, he's probably safest he could ever be with no one on the street. He's a little puppy. He'll definitely fend for himself. I think he'd be okay. The girl I was with at the shop, she got a message from someone who saw the video in Wuhan who helps strays. So they went out to that area to see if they could find the puppy. They couldn't, unfortunately, but, people know he's out there now, looking around in that area, so I think he'll be okay. I hope he'll be okay. He'll probably be okay, because there's no one on the street. Someone might take him in. Because the coronavirus can't spread through animals. Cats and dogs can't spread through cats and dogs, specifically. So someone might see him and take him in. Probably. Why wouldn't you? He was so cute. And again, I don't know if the other part will be in here, but I want to thank everyone so much for the birthday wishes. That was so kind of you. I didn't expect that at all. I was just letting you know it was my birthday, but thank you. That was all very kind. I was very touched by that. So thank you very much.
Oh. Yeah. They need that in the hospital, So some doctors, they don't have that, so they use a file, like a transparent file, plastic, to make that. Right now we are going to find potatoes and fresh vegetables. Yeah, and eggs. Today is the first day of New Year's, but then somehow it's still open. Not too many people here.你咁樣咧都要消毒㗎，陣間，最好乜嘢都唔好冇廣告，這是最難吃的。有盤酸菜，We have been home for 6 days right now since the lockdown, and the last time we left home was about 2 days ago when we went to go buy some groceries. How do you feel? It is a mixed feeling of how do we feel. On one hand, this is the national spring holiday that we are supposed to chill at home, but then on the other hand, when we know more of our friends and people we actually know who get this virus and going to the hospital, that is really concerning. But so far our family is not going out, so we know that we will be safe at home, and we're not too worried.
Now this is our stock remaining. We have lettuce, we have this thing, we have cabbage, we have carrot, we have daikon, more lettuce, root, and eggs, and plenty of stuff. But
I think there's kind of a rumor going around that there's going to be a food shortage, or we're worried about the amount of food that's going to be in Wuhan. But to be honest, this is kind of a lie. Like, the supermarket here is fully stocked. When we went, it really just felt like we were in a normal grocery store when we were there. So we really have no worry about our food. We only stock up as much as we can, so we just limit how many times we go out. Instead of getting only a few groceries, maybe we get a lot more, just so that we know we don't have to go out so often. But like I said, we're just not worried about food at all. The first day, I think there was a lot of panic and unsureness with everyone. So when we went to the grocery store, all the shelves were cleared, but they've been restocked again. The only people that maybe might have difficulty finding food are the elderly or the disabled people who just aren't able to get to the grocery store as often, or
without public transportation.
Yeah, without public transportation, because all of the transportation here in Wuhan has been shut down. All of the taxis and trains and buses, and even we're not allowed to drive cars on the road.
My mom, who is chopping up meat.
And this is turkey.
This is turkey meat. And we got chow mein. We got 韭菜.
And we honestly feel like being here in Wuhan in our home is a lot safer than anywhere else in China right now. And we are kind of glad about this.
Yeah, I think the word trapped is a little bit extreme. Like, the government took necessary precautions to try to contain it as soon as they were able to. So, yeah.
Only problem is,
I feel like it makes sense. Like, obviously you would quarantine the city where it came from.
Yeah.
But unfortunately they were a little bit too slow in doing so, and so many people have left the city for the Spring Festival holiday before they locked it down, and so the virus is spreading outside of the city.
Street I'm living on. This is my hood. This is my neighborhood. Looks like in prison, huh? And if we really starve, we have mint growing here we can eat.